Good afternoon, good morning, good day. We are happy to have so many of you with us today on the 16th of August, 2021. My name is Claudia ten Hafe and I am the Policy and Coordinating Officer of the Minamata Convention. It gives me great pleasure to be with you today and to have with me today also my colleague Ana Garcia Sanz and also Eva Duer, as we come together on a special day, namely the 4th birthday of the Minamata Convention. Indeed, the Minamata Convention has been in its lifetime even longer or older or old than 4 years, because it was in October 2013 that the drafters of the convention and the ones that would become party to this convention came together in Kumamoto in Japan to finalize and to begin signing the convention. And on that day, many countries put their name, their signature next to the text of the Minamata Convention. It was a very moving day, and some of you may have been there with us as we visited the community of Minamata on that day, and many of us were able to interact with those that have been directly affected by the Minamata disaster all those years ago. But also to think about the amazing ability for the communities to come together and for the international community itself to come together to take action on one of the most toxic pollutants that we do have on our planet, namely mercury. And it was that on the 10th of October 2013, the text of the convention was finalized and was signed by countries, and thereafter the clock began in terms of ratification for parties to join the convention. And we were extremely happy to see that milestone, that important milestone, be reached in May of 2017, when more than 50 parties acceded to the convention, and thereby noting their intent on working on the obligations under the convention. This meant that 90 days later, that is the 16th of August 2017, the convention came into effect for all those that had already deposited their ratification instruments, and also for all those that would in the future still become parties. Today, 4 years later, it is astounding to know that 132 parties have deposited their instruments of ratification, which is phenomenal and a great achievement by countries, because it is one thing, of course, to sign an instrument. It is quite another to put all the processes and obligations in place at the national level to fulfill their obligations to this international instrument. And so today, 4 years hence, with 132 parties, it is indeed a very good day for the Minamata Convention and for the global community at a time when good news is also important. We come to you here again in an online setting because it is, of course, also a way to reach as many of you as possible, but also a reality in the COVID-19 situation. And we hope that these Minamata online sessions and other sessions that we do online, at least in some ways, go towards helping your preparation also for our upcoming COP. Let me say a word or two about that before turning to the other reason we are convening today, which is that we are incredibly proud to present to you today our website. But just before that, COP4, which is to meet from the 1st of November onwards, is, as you will know, going to be convened in 2 segments. The first is an online segment from the 1st to the 5th of November. It is then foreseen that the meeting will adjourn until early 2022, and that it will then be in a position to resume its work as an in-person meeting in Bali. We will know more at the time of the meeting in November as to the details of all of this, and it will in fact be in November that the COP will decide on the actual dates for the second segment, the in-person segment, that will be convening in person. With that, let me just reflect that we have had so far 3 COPs that have built on the work that is captured in the convention text. We have a functioning implementation and compliance committee. We have a functioning specific international program that helps those countries that are eligible to further support them in terms of capacity building and technical assistance at the national level. We have the Global Environment Facility that has been a very, very strong supporter and funder of work at the national level around the world. And most interestingly, also in innovative projects, such as the projects around gold, and artisanal small-scale gold mining, known as Planet Gold, of course. So we have many, many things that have been able to be put in place and work for the Minamata Convention. And now we're trying to, as a secretariat, add one more smaller piece. Perhaps it's small to you, but it's quite large to us, namely our new convention website that my colleague Anna will be introducing to you in more detail. But the reason why we are very happy to be able to bring this to you now is that it forms part and parcel of information exchange and of public information on the Minamata Convention and all the obligations that parties have taken on, but also all the good work that parties are taking together, either at the national level or at the regional level or at the international level, to exchange information and to build on each other's experiences to indeed make Mercury history. And with that, I would like to close this introduction and invite Anna to take us into our new website. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Indeed, today is a special day for all the Minamata Convention family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad to see many colleagues all over the globe willing to celebrate with us this 4th anniversary of the Minamata Convention on Mercury. Let me share the screen and I will surface you through our new branded website. Second, please. After a 15-month journey since we began to conceptualize the site, we have completed an essential milestone for the visibility and knowledge management of our convention. It is, as I said, a brand new site featuring a cutting-edge data structure, enhanced accessibility, and a fresh new look in 3 working languages, English, French, and Spanish. The site puts data-driven information and a more satisfying user experience at the very front end of the convention's digital efforts to better serve our parties and increase awareness. The website is implemented using UN standards and relies on a solid knowledge management platform that is interoperable with other systems such as Informia Initiative, which is the United Nations Information Portal and multilateral environmental agreements, which improves efficiency and transparency. This is our starting point. The Minamata Convention website will grow over time in a scalable manner to positively impact our people and planet. Here you have some facts and figures that sum up this milestone. During a year and 3 months, we accomplished the most complex phase in the website evolution because it has entailed a suite of technology, migrating all content from one site to another one and preparing a reliable data architecture. 4,000 documents were migrated in all 6 UN languages from 2007 to 2021. And we built a data architecture that allows intelligently structured and semantically classified content to establish dynamic relationships. Currently, the new site has 2,000 structured nodes from about 200 initial nodes that we have had in the previous site. Now, I will surface through some selected sections to give you a sneak peek at the new Minamata Convention website. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. I will switch to the, let me see if you can see, I will switch to the real site instead of moving through a presentation. If you go to decision making, you can access all Minamata meetings information through an overview page. with some highlighted upcoming meetings and a direct access to specific meeting types. The events can also be seen in a list view with all the upcoming events, and also you can see the concluded ones with several search options, and also you can segment by content types. Sorry, for event types, like here you can see the COP meetings. There's also a calendar view. This calendar is synchronized with Informia UNEP calendar as part of a joint effort sharing semantic relationships. And here you can see some of the meetings that we planned for October. If we keep moving inside decision making, you can see all official meeting documents of the convention where previously were separated objects, and now they are integrated by languages and formats, and they are classified in such a way to provide dedicated accesses. You can access them by specific pages like the COP or some party profile that I will show you in a while. And also you can do some filtering here and some bulk download. For example, if I filter through decision as a type of meeting documents, I can also select the meeting, for example, the third meeting of the conference of the parties, and I can see here all the decisions. I can select, for example, two, and then I can also even have the option to bulk download the two of them, selecting the document type and also the languages in which I want to download them. Another important aspect is that during the migration process, all the links from the previous site were kept in order to avoid access errors and duplicated objects into the search engine when looking them through, for example, Google. I will cancel now. Another interesting section inside decision making are all the COP pages. For example, if we go to the upcoming fourth meeting of the Conference of the Parties, you can see that now the information is all together in one place, but also there are some dedicated tabs in order to better organize the information. We have meeting information, we have all documents, a newsroom, the intersessional work, and the information for participants. Inside the COP section, all documents can at the same time be downloaded by groups, and also they can be filtered in order to specify your needs when searching information. For example, you can look for our working documents, information documents, and also now see submissions from governments. Another fundamental enhancement to the new convention website is the entire section dedicated to its parties, from global vision through a visual list of table of profiles by countries. The user can gather essential information to have a comprehensive picture of the convention implementation status. At the overview level, you can see all parties to the convention with date of signature and ratification that can also be filtered by region or searched by name. I was in the global view. Here you have, for example, Argentina, and if you go to a specific country profile, you can see that each country displays all its data from database into the front end in a fully data-driven process, which is at the same time interoperable with the Informe initiative. Per country, you can see the country name, the region with it belongs, the signature date, the ratification, and the entry into force. There's also, if the country has submitted its national report, you can download it from here. You can see related content, national focal points belonging to that country, and all country documents also that can be filtered by type, submissions, Minamata initial assessments, if there's any notification, or a national report. If you want to switch country, you can go back, or you can also select a country from the list. Like meeting documents, party documents can be found here. They can also be accessed from dedicated pages or from the list. I will share you an example. For example, here we have the party documents that can be filtered by the Minamata initial assessments, and I can see all Minamata initial assessments with the latest at the top. That, of course, I can then reorder. If I want, I can also go through the dedicated page inside parties, Minamata initial assessments, and you will find the same information. Here, there's no manual intervention. The document has been uploaded once, and with all its semantic relationships, then the document is pulled or in the dedicated page or accessed from the dynamic list. News, and the website, sorry, also includes among its main features some resources and news publications in order to raise awareness of the work done under the convention. Inside resources, you can see the list of resources in a visual, appealing manner, the most recent publications, and at the same time, we have a dedicated section to news when we have a new party, notification from the convention, news from the convention, and external news. Both sections can, offer the user the option to use the search box. For example, if I select ASTM, I will find all news related from ASTM. All these search boxes and filtering is something that you can find in an integrated way from the top using the main search box. I look from ASTM, this natural search gives a comprehensive data search from all the database where all this knowledge management and information relies on, and you can then filter by document, event, news, and resources, filter by year, and again, start a new search. It is important that you consider that the main information architecture, the main navigation, it's being kept from the old website, creating also a new section in order to facilitate the access to the content and minimize any learning curve from our users. At the same time, as I show you now, we have created new data-driven solutions, especially all related to decision-making and parties to increase knowledge management, raise awareness, and facilitate the navigation. The homepage has the necessary space and flexibility to promote impactful messages and to create like a clean visual landing. Let me turn now to the presentation, and I will show now what's so as I mentioned before, the website will be growing. It is alive, and it needs to evolve with the convention to make a real impact. Therefore, even if we are now celebrating our 4th anniversary with a new website today, we already have plans to make it even more significant. We are planning to create a topic section that I will show you in a second, a country dashboards and maps, implementation dashboards with provision and obligations under the convention, and an attractive visual timeline with the history of negotiation process and access to all historical documents. The topic sections that we are planning will harvest data automatically, and it will include an overview, some insights, and it will be linked to related intersectional work. We are planning to include 3 tabs, and at the same time, it will pull related documents, decisions, and featured news and events and other resources. The country dashboards and maps are in fact the latest stage of implementation. I will share you now a link that is still under development. And you can see here, this is still under development, but there's the plan is to give you the main overview, a map, a global map that can be filtered by region, and that gives the user the information of the signature and ratification date of all country parties. Below that map, you will find the number of parties, the global number, and by region, the reporting rate, and the reports by region. And finally, this dashboard will offer the number of focal points and the same number by region. This is a robust way of designing, structuring, and pulling information to be transformed into a knowledge management platform. And none of this would have been possible without the enormous support that we received from the beginning from the United Nations Information Portal on Multilateral Environmental Agreements, which is the Informia initiative. And today we have the luxury of having among us its leader, Eva Duer. So I will now thank you and turn over to you, Eva.
Eva, I don't hear you. I don't know if it's my problem.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Can you hear me now?
Perfectly loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you so much, Anna. Thanks for having me here today. We are very excited. Actually, I'm really impressed with the presentation I just saw. And it's my big pleasure as the team leader of the Collective Intelligence team on environmental governance of the Law Division to congratulate you on behalf of all the MEAs that are represented in the Informia initiative, and also on behalf, of course, of the Law Division, because it's really an impressive and very comprehensive and very well structured website. And as those of you who are familiar with websites know, there is an appealing front end and an intuitive presentation is one side of the coin. But to have a very cutting edge back end, that is a less visible and a very important aspect as well. And that's something that you only see over time, how well is the database driven website actually structured and how well is it connected. And in this context, we are very, very lucky as the Informia initiative to have the Minamata Convention amongst our members, because this is a wonderful example of how the work that has been going on in this initiative over many years has been harnessed by a relatively new member that now has an interoperable connected website that is linked to information sources around the MEA. So maybe allow me at this occasion to quickly introduce the Informia initiative, and I have actually prepared a few slides. I will give it a shot to see whether I can actually present them from my end. If you bear with me. Yes, I would just have to go into the presentation mode. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, Eva, I think it's just about to switch into presentation mode and then it will fill the screen. And
yes, exactly.
It's perfectly now on my side. Please go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you. So yes, as we have talked, there is, of course, the luxury of harnessing the experience of the MEAs. And so I just wanted to speak a bit on the initiative that was established in 2010 and now has a quite impressive number of members across all clusters. And of course, with the Minamata Convention being representing here today, the chemicals and waste clusters, but also biodiversity, land, climate, and atmosphere, and many, many other cross-cutting MEAs are part of this group. And They work together to jointly enhance voluntary standards, the ease in which information can be exchanged on all issues relevant to knowledge management, technology options, document standards, and also the experience with using artificial intelligence. The Infomea portal is then the place where a lot of this work becomes visible, where actually about 200,000 sets of documents are being harvested from different sources, including the FAO, and a partnership with IUCN that helped us to get a lot of Ecolex data into Infomea. And it also basically provides a free of charge e-learning tool that now already helps about 40,000 registered learners from 190 countries, and which is multilingual. And there's also a course introducing the Minamata Convention on this platform. And there are also forthcoming on human rights, trade, and other elements that are relevant to the environment. So given the relative use of the Minamata Convention, it has been, this website is a prime example of how this information could be harnessed and how it's a database-driven modular homepage that seamlessly interacts. And one of the examples that I think also Anna has already shown is, of course, the calendar of Minamata Online. This calendar is basically, on the one hand, the place where the Minamata meetings are being shown, but also meetings from all other conventions. And it was very nice to see that the development of the Minamata Online 2 has actually triggered a redevelopment of our calendar on the Infomea website. Because of course things have changed, and it was very important to come to a place where meetings are being updated more instantly during the COVID situation, where meetings have been rescheduled a lot, and they have been, a lot of them are being held online, etc. So that was a very nice way of showing this this interaction and this synergetic cross-fertilization that is possible. So we are very proud to announce it also on the Infomea website. You see a very updated calendar, and as soon as the Minamata Convention puts in a new event, you will find it there, and as a consequence, you will find it on many other websites, including the UNEP website. So again, I don't want to take too much time, but just to say that this cross-fertilization is what brings the initiative from strength to strength, and I think I'm joined by many, also I think a few attending today, MEAs that are around the table in congratulating you again to this wonderful milestone and excellent website. And so with these words, thank you so much. Thank you for being a visionary and active member of the initiative, and we look forward to many more years of collaboration. Thank you so much. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Eva, very, very much for all of this. You and your colleagues, Kelly, have been an advisor to us for many, many, many years. Infomea is just over 10 years old, so it's a decade of knowledge and good advice that we've been able to call on, even in our previous versions of the website. But you were always pushing me to go further, to really take on board interoperability, and I certainly learned a great deal of what a website needed to be, and I was most grateful when Anna joined our team, to whom this was not something she had to research. She just naturally took to it. So, but just to say also, Eva, just Infomea is an extremely important service to all of us MEAs. So thank you very much for your own visionary, as you know, your energy for it, your relentlessness with it, and always coming up with something new and additional that I think is very important to us MEAs, so we don't get stuck in our own silos, but that we look to make really a bigger difference at the international level. So thank you very much, Eva. I will hand back to Anna now, and one comment I wish to make also is that because Minamata is new, we're 4 years old, we are able to learn from all the others, from Infomea, from other conventions. And so it also has been a very iterative way of going forwards, of not starting from ground zero. We've been able to have a platform from which to go. And that is very, very important at this time, where we can harness the experiences of others to really help us go forward. Anna, I hand back to you, and just to also say one other aspect that we I like that Eva made a comment about is that our website is also here to grow with us further, because as the Minamata Convention grows in depth and it gets even more members to be part of the family, we will have even more needs, information needs and exchange needs. And this website was really envisioned now to be able to grow forward with the new and additional needs of parties and stakeholders. So this is only the beginning of our very new chapter in this journey. But Anna, please take us into the next segment of showing us a bit more about the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Let me share my screen. And now we will move into some fun, because this is an iterative and interactive process, and we couldn't do less talking about a celebration day and the website. And we'll see now how much you know about the website. So let's start. If you want, you can go to menti.org and use the following code 71028562. Let me see if I can go from the beginning. Okay, we are still, I'm still waiting for some players. I can see that some are joining, but I will keep the screen for a moment with the big URL and code, which is 71028562. Let me see now if you can see, I believe that you can see the screen. So let's start with the first question. How many parties does the Minamata Convention have? You have now 10 seconds to reply. 192, 132, or 131. Let's see. Okay, so it seems that, yeah, that was a warm-up question for our engine. So let's move to the next one. Can you find the latest party to join our convention? Is it Bahrain, Burundi, Cambodia, or Italy? Okay, time's up. Yes, it is Bahrain. That was not easy, but it's an easy one. If you go to the homepage, you will find a news story mentioning that Bahrain is our 132 party to our convention. Okay, that's the last question of this quiz. So where would you look for meeting documents in our new website? Inside decision-making documents, inside decision-making COP, or inside the news section? Let's see, time's up. Okay, you both questions are right, as it's a data-driven approach. All documents, I mean the meeting documents, the main meeting documents from COPs, you can find them both inside the documents section, and at the same time they are automatically pulled into its correspondent COP. Here it's a ranking that we wanted to hear from you. about the plans that I mentioned before for the new features on the website. What would you think they should go, which one they should go first, the topic section, party dashboards and maps, the implementation dashboard, the interactive timeline, or an SDG follow-up. If you can reply and select, then we'll see what you are thinking are the most important ones. So it seems okay that there's that things are moving up and down, but it seems that you are really willing to see party dashboards. I mean, it seems all 5 look important, but the most important one, let's say, it seems that it's the party dashboard and maps, and you are lucky because, as I showed before, it's the one that is under production, and you will see it pretty soon, even before the COP. We are just checking some technical issues and some clearance on maps disclaimer, but all of them will be implemented in medium term. And finally, the last one is if you can summarize in a word or two how you feel about the new website. While you are writing your words and I hope appreciation about our website, I will thank you very much for joining us on this celebration day with the website launching. There's an enormous collective effort behind the screen that I hope it can be perceived by you. And as you know, and it has been already mentioned by Claudia, by Eva, the Minamata Convention is expected to grow and to better serve our parties and inform the public about the work undertaken. Now, let me turn back to Claudia de Have for the Q&A section and the closing of the event. Back to you, Claudia.
Thank you very much, Anna. And it's lovely to see these words on the screen. That cool and fresh is definitely what we were hoping for in terms of a new approach and a clean approach. We are happy to see the words informative, comprehensive, up to date. Well, thank you very much for your generosity of comments, of course. It is really, really gratifying to hear that. We have a number of persons on joining us today, and so I would like to open up in case you would like to pass to us any specific comments or any specific wishes, or perhaps any specific needs that you see that our website could address in addition to what you've seen, or perhaps you would like an idea where to find something. So may I offer this as an opportunity just to scout information in terms of pre-registration, in terms of documents that are required for accreditation, etc., etc. We will also be putting up soon the time schedule for what we have started to call COP 4.1, in other words, the online session in November, so that you may, wherever you are in different time regions, be able to prepare for the time in the day that the COP would be meeting online. But with that, if I could perhaps invite anybody who would like to raise something to raise their hands. And I actually see one person. I might be missing somebody, but let me call on the first person, Syed from Iran. It's very nice to have you with us today. Please feel free to ask your question simply by pressing unmute. Go ahead, Syed.
Alex, could you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Claudia, for convening this meeting. So I would like to extend my appreciation to Anna and Shariful Islam. First, congratulate the website. I was impressed by it. It today. It's for joining. Very fantastic. I think you are in agreement with me that the visibility of a website is the most essential feature of a website. Fortunately, the new website is user-friendly. I find the look of the website looks very good, especially the contrasting colors. Hello, I think it could be also sharpened more than this, but anyway, it's very nice. I think key parts of the website is very easy for user to see that the website. Also, I tried several times the site, and I see that it loads very fast. Searching features also working. So I just didn't find time to see mobile compatibility of the website. Now, most of us use our mobile phone to connect to the website many times. So, but I didn't find time to see how this new website works through on our mobile phone. So I didn't see which actually informed us of the subsidiary body of the convention, the subsidiary committees, working group committees. So also where you see after convention, you see decision. I don't know. I think we could search for a better, instead of decision making, because when you enter this, see there are meetings, documents, video cups 1 to 4. I don't know what we can replace. Maybe it's but I can't think there is no relevancy between total relevancy between decision making. We can see when we click on that. Anyway, once again I would like to appreciate colleagues in the Secretariat of Minamata Convention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Syed, for both your time and also already looking in depth at our website. I want to hand over to Anna to speak a little bit about the mobile application, but just to comment, decision-making is only the prerogative of the COP, and that's why we very specifically chose that tab as being the work on the COP, so that it's very clear for anybody coming to our website where to find the most pertinent information regarding the decision-making of the COP. So that's why you see it under a tab called decision-making. But Anna could maybe speak a little bit more to some of the others if she so wishes. And you're completely right that we have one subsidiary body. That one subsidiary body is the Implementation and Compliance Committee. And so we have a very prominent place where we have placed it, and we're happy to show you where that is. And in that order, it is right next to the specific international program, which forms in a way the other side of the coin to implementation with in addition to the global environment facility on that. So here we can see, and I think you're reading my mind, indeed, where you can find the information to on the Implementation and Compliance Committee, and as I mentioned, right next door to it, also of the specific international program. Anna, maybe you'd like to speak a little bit to the mobile application, and may I also say I see some questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to take those up after this. And if there are others, please feel free to write them in the chat, and I'll return to them in a minute. But over to you, Anna, first, just to speak a bit about what we've been trying to achieve on the mobile edition, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Claudia. And on the mobile application, what we did at this first milestone when launching the website is to ensure that the website is mobile friendly. So if you look and surface all the website from a mobile phone, you will find that it's easy to navigate and to surface and to find all the information. So we ensure that all, and at the same time, ensuring that the accessibility standards that the UN requires to us are compiled. So that's for now, regarding the mobile access to the website. And what we are planning now is, once that we move into next year, starting 2022, we will implement and launch a mobile application, but that will be mostly addressed to provide information to COP participants if the COP is handled face-to-face. That was what we have been doing for the past 3 COPs, to offer a mobile application to provide the most useful information related to the COP event. And that's what we are planning to do early next year. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you very much. And just to say that this idea, or this need to be able to also access the information on a mobile, is even felt by us as Secretariat members, because of course there's information on the screen, there's information you'd like to have in your hand. So when we talk about the mobile application, we actually also mean any pad, whether it is any tablet, whether that is an iPad or any other tablet. It has been we have worked, Anna in fact has been leading this development with the designers to be applicable across all different formats. So whether you have Android or not, you should be able to access it on your tablets and on your phones, as well as the screen with regard to all of the browsers. When you do, or if you do notice something that looks wrong or that gives you an error message, we would like to invite you to, of course, bring this to our attention by simply emailing it to our general address. There can always be another bug, or almost be something else that we haven't, but I would like to just say that Anna and her team have been test driving this website for some time now to try to figure out all the bugs. But if there's something that still shows up on your side, we would love to know it quickly, to rectify it quickly and make it fully operational and useful for you as parties and other stakeholders. I don't see other hands right now, although definitely the invitation is still open because we still have a couple of moments. But I would like to respond to Lisa's question. Lisa has written in the chat that upon reviewing the website, she noted that only a few countries were listed to have submitted national implementation plans, and whether our list is incomplete. Or is it that only those countries have submitted them? After all, we have 132 parties. So here, implementation plans are not an obligation. They are not mandatory. They are one of the options that a country may use, but it is not a mandatory, it is obligation. In other words, should a country find another way to, at a national level, implement its obligations on Minamata, it may wish to choose so. And if you read the article very carefully, the one on national implementation plans, in their countries or parties are encouraged to do so, but it is not a matter of the implementation plan itself is a form of implementation. It is really just a roadmap. Having said that, we at the Secretariat are very happy that a number of parties have decided to use this modality and have in fact shared their implementation plans. But just to say it is not an obligation, and so not all countries have to do so, but those countries that want to do so are very much encouraged to do so and then encouraged to send us their implementation plans. And so this list is not very large, but we are very happy indeed to have some of them. I hope that answers, Lisa, your question. Let me just say that what is mandatory is national reporting. National reporting is, as per Article 21, all parties are obliged to report on their implementation status. In other words, for Minamata Convention, in contrast to some of the other conventions, the drafters decided to put the emphasis on reporting on actual implementation, as opposed to spend all the time and effort on making a plan to implement. In other words, sort of the lens has shifted a little bit, and in many ways it has shifted because we have learned that a good plan doesn't mean necessarily that you have good implementation. And so in Minamata, the focus is on reporting on actual implementation against the national reporting questions. And in summary, we've had one set of reports come in from parties at the end of December 2019. We are very, very pleased to say that we've had 85% reporting rate of our parties, and that even two parties that were very, very new parties also decided to send their reports, even though they weren't yet obliged to do so. And just as a sort of indication also of what we will be speaking about in future Minamata online sessions, by the end of this year, parties are again expected to report, this time on the 43 questions, all of the questions in the reporting format. And this is, of course, a very, very big endeavor for parties, and we shall stand ready to support parties in their effort towards that. So Lisa, if you would like to have a look on who has reported and how they've reported, please feel free to look at the national reporting part of the website and see what parties have been able to report so far. I think that is the only question I'm seeing, except for the one, of course, earlier about the pre-registration links. So maybe, Anna, if you could maybe just indicate when the information for COP4 will become available for registering. I would like to just say that at the end of April, the letters were sent out to all parties to alert them to the aspects of the format of the Minamata Convention for November, the meeting in online format, and the letter to observers has also gone out. And so over to you, Anna, to explain a little bit about the registration information coming up, and also the registration system, which is another aspect of this overall endeavor to move Minamata to more knowledge-driven data collection that Anna is also working on. Please, over to you, Anna.
Thank you, Claudia. And just to start with the website, the information that we have already posted on the website. If you go into the COP4 page, inside the news section, we have posted and gathered the letters that were sent from our executive secretary, both to parties to the convention, at the same time to the observers. So over there, users will find all the detailed information inside the letter on how to proceed for registration. Also, they will find a tentative schedule and the provisional agenda. If I go back to the same page, what we have prepared inside the COP4 section for participants, we gathered the most essential information that is inside the letters and other procedures, and we created this sub-tab called Information for Participants, where the users can find both if they are parties to the convention observers already accredited or new observers, they will find information on how to register. There's information on the registration platform, the meeting platform that we will be using, information addressed specifically to parties and governments, and then a whole other subsection on information for observers and new observers. All the information is here, but just a quick note. This year for registering and managing participants to our Conference of the Parties to the Minamata Convention, the COP4, we've been using, and we are already using Kronos, which is the participant management system developed by our sibling MEA, the Convention on Biological Diversity. This platform has already been largely used by other MEAs like CITES and the Ozone Secretariat. The philosophy it's more a participant management system than a registration management system. And what does that entail? It entails, and there's like the philosophy behind it is that as we grow as a convention and we have more accredited observers and a lot of parties that have already joined the convention and attended our COPs, that all this information is gathered in a knowledge management platform for participant management. This is called Kronos, as I already mentioned. So all parties and accredited observers have received a unique email with a unique link to pre-register their delegations, and over there they will find, if they have already attended our COPs, they will find all the information, so there's no need to retype all delegates' information. So it's just a matter of updating that, and then of course following the regular process of sending nomination letters to the Secretariat. But all this information you have received it in an email, and if you are new to the convention, you can gather and read all the information from our website. And also there's a form below if you are a new observer and you want to join our COP. There's a procedure on how to submit information so we can register you for our COP. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Anna, if I could ask you to perhaps display the online Minamata Season 2 online schedule, because I see some questions have come directly to us as panelists, and I think they're probably questions that others may have as well. And as we are just about on top of the hour, I would like to draw your attention to the rest of the Minamata Online Season 2 schedule, which is available on our website, and to draw your attention specifically also to regional meetings. This is a question that's just come to us as panelists. There will indeed, as always, be regional meetings ahead of the COP. But firstly, since we are now convening first online and only thereafter in person, and as you can see displayed here, there will be regional online meetings before the COP convenes online in November. They are specific to the region and are closed to the region, and they are led by the bureau members of that region. So these are not workshop meetings. These are meetings that assist parties to prepare for their deliberation for the COP. I'd also like to point you to the provision that's being made in early 22, again to some online regional meetings, again so that parties are assisted to prepare ahead of the time that we can meet in person, but also to say that it is the intent of the presidency and the secretariat to enable in-person meetings in the day or days before we can come together in person. And usually we have a session on the Sunday before the COP opens, but as this has been such an extraordinary time and maybe not only maybe, but certainly parties may feel the need to have more time to deliberate in person at the regional level. We are actively working on ensuring that a little bit more time can be available there. So please do have a look at this calendar very carefully. And if you are unsure of something, or there might be additional information you'd like to know, just drop us an email and we shall be happy to return to you. I'd also like to say that, of course, we are really trying to learn how to do online meetings well, and to support you as parties and stakeholders in your further deliberation of Minamata and its obligations and its promise to the people of the world to be not harmed or no longer harmed by the effects of mercury. And so we are working very closely also with other parts of the UNEP system to learn how to do things best and to avoid any technical glitches that might have been seen elsewhere. And we very much appreciate also, of course, the flexibility and forthcomingness of all parties and stakeholders to support this new format. And I wish to simply leave it at that, but to convey also that this message is very much supported and in fact driven by our Executive Secretary, who has in fact convened certain meetings with other MEAs to really harvest all the lessons learned of what to do better, what perhaps not to do. So please be quite assured that it is our absolute intent and hope as Secretariat to support you as best as possible in a technological way as well, to participate fully. With that, it gives me just great pleasure to invite you to our next Minamata online event. This event was the first in the implementation review and support stream for this season, but the science stream of the season has already gotten underway strongly, and the next event, which is set for the 23rd of August, promises to be very insightful, especially for those of us from the southern part of the world, the southern hemisphere, an area where science has not always been as comprehensive as it has been for the northern part of the hemisphere. So please join us on Monday, the 23rd of August in this regard. And with that, I have exceeded the time, but I would like to thank you all for being with us and for continuing to support Minamata, and just reach out if we can be helpful in information or any other way. With that, wishing you a very good day. Bye-bye.